Morning everyone. Well, it's 2017 and I'm back in the woods. It's the last day of my holiday, so I'm making the most of it and getting out. It's early on in the morning. There's a few dog walkers around, but that's to be expected, isn't it? All being well, I can get to the hidden zone. You know, where the shelter is. I talked about that from the previous video. I can get there without being seen. It should be easy enough. Anyway, it's -1 degrees out here, nice and crisp. Blue skies. Don't know whether they'll show up as blue, but they are blue skies. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Only having a cup of tea out here again, and some biscuits. But the main aim today is, of course, check the shelter over. The main aim is to build a tripod and lash it at the top. Build like the classic bushcraft chair, you know, the material chair between the tripod. Build that, but also incorporate a tarpaulin and build it as such, make it as such so that it's enclosed rather than open. So it's like a semi, you know, well, like a temporary shelter, but once it's built, and it should be pretty basic, quick enough to build. It'd just be easy enough just to throw the fabric on the seat as such, and then just throw the top over the top. Maybe I'll have to incorporate a ridge line. I've got a feeling I'll have to, and all the rest should be good. So anyway, I hope you had well, the past year's been good, and I wish you all the very best for this, for 2017. Beautiful it is out here this morning. Everything's frozen. So I'm making my way in now. I've gone off the trails and heading in. It's all starting to thaw here. I'm thinking building a shelter like what I'm going to build now, if you can call it that. Tripod / A-frame shelter. It's a better option. Rather than having like a fixed permanent place, such as the shelter that I showed you before in the previous video. So if it gets vandalised or for whatever reason gets damaged, it's easily enough replaceable. Whereas like the fixed one, the permanent one, it's like, it was a nightmare to lift some of the beams up, tie them off, ton of paracord, you know. So anyway, I'm not too far off now, catching a bit. So nothing's damaged, don't think anything's been added to again. Let's have a look around. Try not to get my hand in the way. No, I don't think anything else has been added. Okay, all's good. Obviously I've got to sort myself 3 logs. So I got one all pre-cut down here, so I'll proceed with the other 2. Okay, that's the 3 main beams cut for the tripod chair. All I've got to do, left one with a V at the top, so they can slot in nicely and rest on each other. All I've got to do is lash them together with some paracord and then stand them out as a tripod. Right, catch you in a minute. So I'm making a lashing around the three logs like that. Tie off the first one and go over, under, back round, over, under, and so on until I'm happy with, like, you know, the amount of paracord that's wrapped round. Then when I'm happy with the amount that's around the actual beams themselves, I'll then do loops round there, pulling in tight, and then I'll tie off to where I started. Okay, I'll carry on. See you in a minute. Let's try and get it on camera. There it is, finished. So I've done the lashing at the top. I've kept it low like that. I've cut it low at the top. Well, or lashed it high at the top, if you want to say, for a reason. You'll see that in a minute. But there we go. That's like your typical bushcraft tripod. You'd put this across the bottom of the tripod like that and fasten the fabric to hang down and have that as the base. So there's loads of videos on YouTube on how to make one of these, so I'm going to carry on. That's the A-frame tripod shelter finished. Let's have a look. Let's go around. You see, there's the tripod on the inside of the tarp. So there's the original tripod there that I've got, and of course, because I've got the tarpaulin over the top, I don't want any sharp edges of the wood, you know, obviously to puncture the tarp. So all I've done is where there's any sticking or touching the tarp, I've got like a dry sack, you know, and put it there, so there's no chance of anything puncturing. Tied off onto the tripod, come down, cut the beam here to sit along, lash that either side, plus I also put another beam across the top, which is, as you've already seen probably, it's resting on the top of that tripod right the way through, and it goes through to the back end here. Let's have a look so you can get in. So it runs right the way back like that. Let's have a look. It's awkward to get to. That's it, it runs right the way across the back of the tarp, obviously to keep it in place. And I've lashed another two beams coming down to the ground to support the back end of the ridgeline beam, I suppose you could call it, like that. Tied off to the tree, and I've just let the corners hang down. Let's step further back. So there you have the shelter. So if the weather turned for the worse, which it's not going to today because I've already said it's nice and bright, what you could do, obviously you could sit here under shelter and you'd be fine from all the elements. But what you could do is also unattach the lashing either side to the seat, so you don't really need that. I've just done it to adjust the height, that's just why I've done it, fix it. Undo that, take the chair fastening off, and then you've got a full A-frame shelter to get down in, put the ground sheet in and stay the night if you had to. These that I've tied off, which are to the corners to the top, you could always untie. Let's have a look. Undo that, undo, and you could always, let's have a look, pull them out further so you've got further coverage, or you could even bring them across and in like that, so then you've got even more shelter from the elements, say if it was windy or whatever. Another thing I could do is I could take a few inches off the main supports tripod and lower it a touch, or another option is just bring the 4x4 tarp and it'd be touching the ground. But there's plenty of shelter there. from anything the weather could throw at you, really. Okay, okay, this is opposite to what I was on about earlier. I've got the two corners of the tarp spread outwards, obviously to give you more room and to give you more visibility on the sides, but still maintaining the coverage that you may need if it started to rain or snow. Okay, now we have the more enclosed version for worse weather, colder weather, windy, whatever it be. All I've done is just pull the corners down of the tarp down onto one central tent peg, and if you really wanted to, I suppose you could bring these two fabric loops in together like that also. You know, I said about with the tie offs and the top being back like that, and you've got the cordage along the outside, you've got the option of hanging the bags. Why not use the material loops on the outer of the tarp? That's if you have them. Most tarps have, say this is a DD multicam 3x3, but why not? Obviously, as long as it's not, you know, anything of substantial weight, it's going to be fine. So like your Laplander saw or whatever you want, you know. Just a thought. Just a minute. Got me hobnob biscuits and my cup of coffee, and it's time to sit back and relax. I've took everything down, just left the frame up, and we'll see how we go when I come back next time. So now I'm just going to make my way out back through the woods. As you can see, there's no trails here, it's well off the path. So I'm back on the main trail. Wishing I would stay in the night, to be honest with you. And then again, I always do. Just can't beat the overnighters. Nobody in sight. Too cold for most, I suppose. Catch you later.